and welcome to the Holy Hour Podcast. It's the bi-weekly All Cure Podcast. I'm Gavin, and tonight I am joined by Chaz and our buddy Kate. Welcome back to the show. Hello, Kate.
Hello, Kate.
Hello. Good to see you. Good to hear you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, good to have you on. And we got a weird one for everyone out there tonight. Buckle up. We figured we'd try our best Robert Smith and throw a curveball after the epic Wish debate that we had last episode. And how do you follow that up? But with animal talk. Dun, dun, dun. So yes, this is an episode devoted entirely to animal references and Cure songs and beyond. Plus, we're just going to catch up with some good Kate talk here and talk with Kate. But I have to say on the top, the idea came from Chaz. I know. If anybody caught on that I recently went to Costa Rica, this seems like a ploy just to talk about how are monkeys or something. I swear to you, it's not. This one came from Chaz, and if I'm not mistaken, you're coming off some painkillers maybe and just hanging out with your dogs.
I was taking. I pulled a muscle in my arm, and I was taking some. I don't even know what I was taking. I'm terrible
all the pills
with pain medicine. Yeah, it knocked me for a loop. So this one I came up with, and I just texted Gavin in the middle of it, and I was like, "Hey, let's talk about animal names."
Animals.
Songs with animals in them.
Usually I'm like, yes, let's write it on the list and stew on it for a while. But I was like, that's so weird that, yes, let's do it. I don't even know what that means entirely, but yes, we're doing it fast and we're doing it soon. So, and then, we're thinking the best animal lover we know out there has got to be a part of this one. So we had to get Kate involved from her wonderful children's books, illustrations, and all your artwork, and just from what I've witnessed. Safe to say, a big animal fan, Kate?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Friend to the animal world, the Beastmasters. So we had to get you involved for this. So cool. We figured we'd go through a list of animal references in songs, whether it be in the titles or they're just mentioning any kind of animal. We even broaden the scope, I think, to insects maybe, and anything that basically...
Can't forget them. All of God's little creatures.
Yes.
There was some talk of, it was like, does this count? And we're like, well, how long could this list possibly be? So let's count everything. And it turns out it's fairly long, the list of songs. So we won't dwell on every animal thing and reference and sing the line or anything probably, but we will try to go in order and mention every song that mentions an animal. Were you surprised, you guys, by how many animal references or songs?
But I knew there was going to be a bunch just off the top of my head, and I was just like, okay, maybe we could do our
favorite.
Rank them. And then as I got into it, I was like, that's way too many. So I was just like, we'll just talk about them.
Well, maybe we'll just say on the top here, the list that we're looking at has 40 songs on it. So there's a couple that might be debatable, but I think for the most part, 40 are listed. That seems like a lot. Like, I wouldn't think of the animal. I mean, obviously the love cats and shake dog shake stuff, but I mean, I wouldn't think of like, oh, Cure, here he goes again. He's gonna be singing about some crazy animal or something. So, I mean, like, but if you think about other bands, especially like Depeche Mode or New Order or something, I'm not sure we could get more than 10. Probably 5. Probably. I can't even think of any off the top of my head, really. So 40 is pretty impressive. I mean,
I didn't really go through with a fine-tooth comb with like B-sides, but looking at the list, there's a couple. But
got some B-sides.
I didn't include anything with the word man in it because that's the most dangerous animal.
Right. But, man or woman.
So, but I was pleasantly surprised. Kate, how many songs did you find on this list?
Well,
that we didn't have.
You guys had already comprised that long list, and I had the imaginary lemurs was one that. What is that? Out of Mind?
Out of Mind. Just saw it.
Imaginary lemurs.
And Drowning Man, the birds. Did I put that one in there too?
Yeah, we kind of sprinkled them in. Yeah, tried to put them in order of their release once we have the master list here. So we'll kind of just go. But yeah, it was a good chunk. So I was like, because Chaz definitely, I had like maybe a handful. I said Chaz that he sent a real impressive list back. I was like, sweet, went all the way up to like Disintegration, and then
yeah,
I just did.
I didn't even include Disintegration, which is on this list.
Yeah,
and I was just like, wow. I was just like, I missed that one.
That one might have been the last one I had. I was like, oh yeah, that's not on there. We gotta add the crocodiles. So.
Oh yeah, Foolish Arrangement. The fish may take a while. That was the other one.
Yeah.
And Harold and Joe.
My only concern.
I only had four. Those
are key ones though. So. But my only concern is Later Cure. I didn't really go through anything off of like 413 and self-titled, and looking at it, it drops off drastically after Blood Flowers. So maybe I can't think of any. I went through
a little bit of the 413 today.
Okay.
I was just like, Freak Show has to have an animal reference in it. And nope.
Nothing.
Really?
Yeah, I was disappointed.
Maybe that's why some of the later songs don't quite hit the way. Maybe there's been a lack of animals in the...
Lack of drugs.
Robert's not doing drugs and going to the zoo
anymore. We've cracked the code finally. So somebody quick send him a message so he can drop a few animals into the new album. That'll further delay it. Wait.
He can stay with me. I'll drive him to the zoo every day.
Yeah, I love to hang out with him.
Elmwood and Philadelphia.
I guess maybe we could kick it off with some more speculation then. What do you think, Robert, as a person? What kind of animals do you think is he a big animal lover? I guess apparently if he's got 40 songs that references animals, but people tend to always like argue back and forth, is he a cat or dog person too? That's
well,
I mean, it seems like a lot of cat references. There's really only two dog ones, right? Shake Dog Shake and All I Want, but
I think
but then there's that picture that always floats around where he's just like being swarmed by dogs. We don't know whose dogs they are or what's going on, but he looks real happy.
It's a cute picture.
So everyone's just like, oh, total dog dude. He loves dogs. He's got like 500 dogs, bro. So
I think he's more of a cat person, just by the way he talks about not wanting kids. I don't know. It just kind of leads me to believe he's more of a cat person, just because.
Good point. Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying he's, like he wants to love when he wants to love, and it doesn't really go the other way around. So, which is fine. But but I feel like his personality fits more of a cat than a dog. So Lowell's more of a dog.
Yeah.
Well, Simon's a dog guy.
Yeah.
I can see that.
He's got a dog.
Yeah, he's got the dog on his little profile picture and everything. Yeah, I'm sure there's like a Cure News, something from one of those like just list of like, what is your favorite animal? Like I didn't even try to comb through all that to see. I'm sure there's something but he probably gave some like ridiculous answer like polar bear or something, that wouldn't totally tip the scale one way or the other, So, but yeah, probably some further research. We'll save that for Animals Part 2, so stay tuned. This will be an ongoing series in the Holy Hour podcast.
I feel like Robert's more of a studier of what animals do and how they react, and that's why he works them into his lyrics a lot more.
Yeah.
And he's down with like the metaphors and stuff. So I think he's got a good grasp on. I mean, he's a reader for one thing. He's got a good grasp on knowledge, and the things that animals do, and does a good job of breaking them down and putting them into music. So I don't know of very many other bands that have this many animal songs. Other than like a kids band,
right?
Like Yo Gabba Gabba or something.
Agent 23 Skidoo or whatever.
Mickey Mouse.
And like you said, most of the references are like, like a metaphor or some kind of simile or something, where it's like not the whole song is devoted to maybe love cats is one of the few that was that absolute, this is about. And even that, it's probably not literally two cats that he's singing about. So, you never know with him, but
he does like to use literary references, and a couple of the animals on the list come from literary references.
True. So, all right. Well, maybe we could pause there. Should we dive into this list since it is 40 songs we got to get through? So, I have a bad feeling I shouldn't have said that number at the top. Everyone's just like, click.
All right, cool. We're only going to spend like 20 minutes on each song.
Yeah, totally. Especially when you see the one that kicks it all off here. This is how in-depth we have come here. So
that's the one I sent to you that I was like, I don't know if he's going to like this. Like, actually take this one as a song about an animal or not.
Yeah, we had to start off with a debatable one. So you want to kick it off, Chaz? What was our lead-off animal track?
Well, we got two that were kind of lead-off tracks that were kind of questionable, but we have Meat Hook.
Yeah, that meat came from something.
Sure, and Foxy Lady.
Yeah, so both of them, one form or another, whether it be the meat or the fox-like lady. So and that's not even officially a Cure song. So who knows if we should technically count that, but
yeah, I mean Meat Hook, I guess, because I guess that's what's on the hook.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's not human
he
meat.
mentions a slaughterhouse I'm looking at the lyrics now.
Yeah, I got the song words book on standby in case there's any really heated debates we can flip it and get more context out of, but so anybody listening along, flip along with your song words.
Yeah, I know it doesn't specifically mention a certain animal, so that's why I was just like, but I guess you can just kind of assume it's a cow or a sheep. Probably the two that I would guess. But
yeah, seems like the most obvious there, and why not? So cool. Yeah. So then we get the first actual cat reference in All Cats Are Gray. It says no 17 seconds animals. So
I was surprised. I was surprised there's no I'm really surprised with the British in him. There's no like mention of like fox hunting in any of his music.
Maybe that's too royal or something.
Or maybe anti.
Something.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of controversy about that in England.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So, fucking rich assholes. Anyway.
So we move on to All Cats Are Gray. Again, this one probably isn't, really dwelling on the cat factor other than, It's the title though, so right there.
And they're gray.
So clearly, so talking about cats and an expression of sorts, right? Doesn't it go back to in the dark, all cats are gray? Is like not some whole concept that he came up with 100% by any means, right? So,
I don't know. I didn't know that.
I think I read that.
Oh,
somewhere.
I see.
So, but yeah.
All cats are gray in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was fiddling with like top 10 like animal songs, like this was like one I was just like, oh my god, how can this not be in my top 10? And I'm just like, well, I was like, it's not, it's not like it does have cats in the title, but it's not about an animal kind of thing we were going for at first, and I was just like, nope, it would be in my top 10 either way.
Yeah.
So in the caves, all cats are gray.
Yeah, it's more of a concept, really.
Yeah.
It's like I'll really focus on cats later.
It seems to be kind of a dirty kind of connotation that basically when you have the lights out, everybody's beautiful.
Yeah, I guess
in the bedroom.
Yeah, everything
in the boudoir.
Yes,
you could definitely take it that way. Yeah. And
the texture that coats the skin. What is that? What is that?
Good line. Whatever the hell he's talking about.
Is he talking about the hair on his arms? Does he feel hairy like a cat? Is he talking about himself as being more beautiful in the dark? Just wondering.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he likes to put whiskers on and walk around the house. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no judgment here. Cool. So then we move on to Drowning Man, which definitely goes into the perhaps most literary reference Cure song. So this was just, let's see, where's it drop the birds there?
Yeah, one by one, the birds, the bright birds leave her.
Yeah. So.
Which I take just to mean that the life is leaving her body.
Yeah, because at that point
she falls out the window, bumps her head, falls out the window, and dies, plummets to her death. And one by one, the bright birds, her soul leaving her body. Like
yeah. So once again,
yeah.
Oh, you don't get me started. You don't know about me and bird calls.
Yeah, big.
Oh God.
I have a reputation. It's bad.
5 minutes from now, she's just gonna be surrounded by different type of birds from the Tri-County area.
That's right.
Awesome. So yeah, I guess we could sprinkle these little factoids in for everybody as we go along. Do you have a favorite animal, Kate? Would it be bird?
Well, traditionally penguins are my favorite.
Yeah.
Traditionally, which is a bird, but it's funny because if you ever go to a zoo and kind of hang out around the penguin enclosure, Brian and I went to the Philadelphia Zoo, and we were I think we were in Salt Lake. Anyway, we were sitting in front of the penguin enclosure, and I'm just like there for an hour, just watching them and laughing, cracking up. And you have people coming up and making comments, and the little kid says, "Mommy, are penguins birds?" And the mom's like, "No, they're not birds." Like, yes, they are. You're just misleading your child. How do you not know that penguins are birds or not? Like, how do you not know that?
What did you think they were?
I don't know.
Just penguins?
Like, are they covered in fur? No, I guess it doesn't look like feathers, so it could be. It could be a little misleading.
Plus to say it so like disgustedly, like, oh God,
fly.
no filthy bird.
Yeah, you fucking moron. What's your problem?
You're just standing like,
they're like dolphins, right? They got flippers. I don't know.
Cool. And you said you had a Robert theory connected to penguins. Maybe this is a good time to drop it.
Well,
what is this theory?
back in my early pen pal days, when I really fell in love with penguins when I was in college. I don't know exactly what happened. Oh, I know it. I was watching on Channel 12 on WHYY. There was something like a nature special, and it was about penguins. And I'm watching the penguins walk. And I'm like, that's exactly how Robert Smith carries himself. And not only that, they're kind of wearing his like kiss me head on the door era, like black and white outfit. If you look at their feet, really, like he does have a penguin gait about him. So I just decided that he was in a former life possibly a penguin. And started just making proclamations about this to my pen pals. And then when I had a chance to possibly run into him after a show in New York in 1996, at the time I was working at a toy store nearby called Puns. And Beanie Babies had just come out. They were all the rage. You collected them because they might become valuable someday. But the penguin Beanie Baby was by far the cutest of all of them. They just like had the shape of like a pear, like rounded at the bottom. So I prepared gifts just in case I got to be like in a backstage situation or after show situation. And for Robert, I put a penguin Beanie Baby on top of a little stack of, I don't know, books or something that I had wrapped up, just like we would do for the kids that came in, like wrapped presents for the parents. And And when I handed it to him, I was coming out of an elevator, and he was being ushered in the elevator
Yeah.
backstage at Radio City, and I like just like gently like tried to was like, Robert,
Present to
take
you.
this. And I did a little drawing of it. It's on one of my Instagram posts
Yeah.
that I had done for my pen pal, and he just kind of looked at it, and he was really drunk, like famously drunk that night. He
Yeah.
almost stage dove. It was a night where they had played pool before the game, or before the game. Oh my God, before,
Big match.
before the Eagles game, he was playing
Yeah.
pool. My mind isn't Super Bowl. And so they had played pool for hours before, and they were late. Show started like at least a half an hour late
Wow.
because they're just getting him there. And then he was just, a floppy mess, and did some scaling of the side. I don't know. It was like off the side of the stage. There was almost like a wall, raised wall, where he kind of wandered out, came back again. So he was a sloppy mess.
Did he try to drink the penguin? It's like, cool.
No, by the time I ran in, this encounter happened,
Yeah.
he was tired.
Yeah.
And the people that were ushering him on the elevator were like, all right, we got to get
Cool.
him back. We got to get him back. He's past his time. So I just handed him the little stack, and he looked at the penguin, and he just looked at it like he wanted to poke it or something. And then I was like,
Cool.
read the card first, like you
Yeah.
do when you give a present to a kid. Read the card. Don't open the present. Read the card. So,
But it made it
Then-
away with it? Oh, okay.
well, so just like to make it full circle, someone on Instagram that had been to one of the shows on this past tour threw a penguin up at the stage when Robert was, people were tossing things. I forget which show it was.
Uh-huh.
And it was a penguin with like a little scroll attached to it. And Robert picked it up and said, "There's nothing I love fucking more than a penguin with a scroll attached to it." And I was like, I did that in 1996. And then it turns out that this guy did this because he was inspired by my pen pal.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Because he saw it
Very
on
cool.
Instagram, so he brought it. And I was just like,
That's
oh my
wild.
God, it's true. He loves penguins. Maybe he
Wow.
remembers the one that I
Yeah, if he's
featured in
like
the elevator
referencing
that
it as everybody's been like continuing this thing forever. He's like, I got like 500 penguins with scrolls.
Yeah.
That's
His
rad.
bedroom is just full of penguins.
Yeah.
No idea why.
Yeah.
Very cool.
If it wasn't before, it will be now.
Yeah. Well, it takes him back to his former lives,
Mhm,
It's like my people. So that's awesome. Yeah, and I love the little on the Cure Threads logo there. You got the little penguin, right?
That's why he's holding the penguin.
Yeah,
Beanie
that's
Babies.
cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
It's in my personal story.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
It's not cool. It's totally nerdy. It's
I love
okay.
it. No,
No.
that's great. Cool. So yeah, so he, it made it with him though, right? When he drunkenly walked off with it and went up the elevator and stuff.
He
it
got
wasn't
in the
like
elevator with it in his hands.
Cool.
Oh, and he said, "Thank you."
Oh, that's the best you can hope for. Yeah, that's great. The best is like when they leave it on like an amp or something, and some other dude just walks off
Right.
with it. It's
Right,
like,
exactly. Like I knew it was going back to his hotel.
Yeah, at least it made it that far. That's good. So. Awesome. Cool. I was dying to hear that full version. So thank you very much. So we should move on to darker animal references as we got 100 years. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's anything that doesn't get referenced in this song. It's this jam-packed full of stuff. And animals include, what do we got? We got a tiger, we got pigs, and we got flies. Right?
Flies.
So, bugs, animals, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, and they've all been, kind of baffling at various times and such too. Thrashing like a tiger. Right?
Yeah. And then we got the dead fly
Yeah.
and the slaughtered pigs. So not positive
Not
views on
positive.
animals.
Nah. So
So
No.
just just a messy tune all the way through, but such is life, right?
Well, people, man,
Yes.
humans in war, you might say that they have more animalistic behavior
Yeah.
because they're not using their reasoning.
Hmm.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
They're
I
the
don't
most
know.
dangerous animal.
Yeah.
That's right.
For sure.
Even worse when we're not thinking about other people's feelings.
All right.
Very true.
Wow. Damn. All right. Well, let's get away from that mess and just go to
Yeah, let's go
short-term
to
effect.
Next slide.
They're all going to be pretty bleak here for the next stretch if you're not familiar with this album. So we got short-term effect. We got falling bird, right? Let's see. Yeah, right in the beginning there. Just a falling dead bird, probably.
Dead birds, pretty sad.
So, good imagery there. It's definitely gonna paint the picture. I do think birds might be the most referenced. We should probably save that for our finale, but it does seem like birds get the most. People would probably guess cats, maybe, but
Yeah, birds do, and fish.
Fish too, yeah. So let's see. There's a lot of fish, which is a bit surprising. It seemed like it would be a little hard to work fish into a song. Being a songwriter, I don't know if I've really ever dropped the fish in my song, so I'll have to try that sometime. Yeah, so that one's pretty straightforward, I guess.
Oh, wait a second. I just made a connection.
Okay.
Cats, what do they like to hunt?
Bird.
What kind of food do you feed a cat?
Fish.
Fish
Cat
and
food.
chicken.
Chicken.
And they like to hunt. They like to hunt birds.
True. Yeah. So they are kind
Very
of
true.
connected through that for sure. Yeah. Birds, fish, cats. Yeah.
And spiders.
Yeah, a lot more of a
And
connection than
spiders.
tigers and
Yeah.
spiders. Like,
And flies. Our cats will go
And
after
flies.
any kind of insect.
True. Cool. Let's see what's next on the list. Hanging Garden, right? So we got lots of animal imagery in this one. Creatures even kissing in the rain. We don't even know what that might be, but
Yeah, what kind of animals?
we don't even know. It's so
Well, in the video, what do we see? We see like flashes of things in the video.
yeah, it's
I
like
can't think of off the top of my
a
head.
tiger or something, like a sculptures, right? Is there actual animal flashes in it?
I wish I
We
had
really
done
should
more
have done our
research.
research.
I know.
Yeah, I should have rewatched every video too. Just
Nothing but professional.
usually I love any excuse to rewatch every video to see if there's just visually
I just remember them. I don't really remember any animals.
background stuff. Yeah, I don't, unless it was like a sculpture or something that they just did a or like a mask of any different type other than the pornography ones that they have.
Well, they're
going
wearing
on.
furs and masks.
Furs and masks, yes. Furs must have come from something. Dun, dun, dun.
That's right. That's right.
Siamese twins?
Worms.
Worms.
They count.
Invertebrates.
Dancing in my pocket, worms eat my skin.
What does it mean?
Yes,
Are the worms dancing in his pocket and eating his skin at the same time?
worms? Because it doesn't seem like he's buried and getting decomposed so much if there's any kind of dancing in his pocket. But she classic. Arms outstretched.
Yeah, I don't know. I've
it's a
never seen worms
weird
eat skin,
placement.
but I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they have different worms in England.
Yeah.
The worms
The
crawl
flesh-eating
in,
worms.
the worms crawl out, the worms play pinochle in their scalp.
I understand
he's
you do that after
referencing.
you're dead, but I mean,
Yeah,
as far
yeah,
as
like weird placement here because all the other stuff doesn't really sound like he's totally buried yet or anything.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
maybe just mix the lines up afterwards. But hey, you would think it'd be some kind of decomposing reference.
I mean, the perfect song for it, I guess, but
yeah,
it's not in there.
nah.
So
Keeping us on our toes.
yeah,
We're gonna get to
absolutely.
the end of this and be like, wow, his lyrics are terrible. What are we doing? All these years, what is this bullshit? No
the
way.
weirder they are, or the times where they are the strangest, seem to coincide with times where he admits he was doing a lot of drugs,
Yeah, so
Oh yeah, yeah.
definitely.
which makes
But
sense.
that being said, there aren't a terrible amount of from the top, which you'd think, right? Or am I
True.
wrong? Let's
Yeah,
see.
it's a pretty good chunk.
Oh, I'm completely wrong. Never mind.
Yeah, you're very
Yeah,
wrong.
Yeah, there's a
there's a
lot.
bunch there. Yes. I think I was just trying to skip over that album.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
just
you were doing, yeah.
you
Yeah.
got your blinders on, your, your
Yeah.
top
I was
filter.
just like, all right, Shake Dog Shake,
Yeah,
Caterpillar. Okay, I'm done.
yeah.
So,
So,
Don't want to talk about it anymore.
yeah. So yeah, back to figurehead. I guess we had freshly squashed flies. Um,
Spider inside
spider,
them,
yeah, that's
uh,
spider and
that
flies.
which is kind of freaky. I don't like that idea of spiders inside anything.
Yeah. Yeah, even worms
Uh,
eating his skin. Going back to that, are we talking like a tapeworm kind of thing, maybe? Some kind
yeah,
of
but
Maybe.
I mean, I don't really carry tapeworms in my pocket. But I
yeah.
mean, how do you get a tapeworm? Like, I don't like.
You eat something that they're
Oh,
a parasite, so
Yeah.
they're
I meant like, how do you go about like?
According to that Kids in the Hall sketch, it's too much macaroni and cheese, I think.
I wouldn't put it in one in my pocket.
Nah.
It's way too close to places where they shouldn't be.
Ooh. So,
Gross.
I got a tapeworm.
Gross.
I got a tapeworm guy.
yeah. Oh, this whole album's just grossing me out.
It's pretty gross.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll move on from the spiders and flies, even though I have a feeling we'll revisit those two. And our next on the list gets a little sunnier
Yeah.
with Let's Go to Bed. The second cat reference here. So, perfect is cats, which is a great line because cats are pretty perfect looking.
Yeah, they are, for
They're
the most
very
part.
visually.
Don't tell them otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But there's oddly enough, we don't have the walk, even though they have a fly on the cover of it
yeah.
of the single. So
Yeah, I
they
did a quick
not,
glance. I was like mentally like album art. Has there been many animals like actually on it? And the only thing I think I came up with was the Love Cat single and the fly on what?
and the quad puss.
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
one.
Would be
yeah.
one.
Well, and the bird on high.
True.
Although
I
it
guess
doesn't
so,
really look
yeah.
like a bird, but
Yeah.
There's a bunch of dayglow fish.
yes.
Yeah.
And there's a bird in the top art too, but not really on the cover. That like crow
Oh, yeah.
thing
There is.
that's like
There
in
is.
there.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a lot more. I didn't even think about going into that. But yeah.
Mm.
I think something else in that wish art is probably some kind of animal, but who knows? Some kind
One
of
way or another.
another little squid hands or something. I don't, but,
There's got to be an animal. There's a dog on the front of the self-titled, isn't there?
probably
something.
Yeah, probably something.
Oh, and on the just like no, is it just like no? Why can't I be you?
Oh yeah, the
12
polar
inch.
bear.
There's a dog.
Oh, I always thought that was a polar bear.
Oh, is it a polar bear? I always thought it was a dog.
I always thought because of the.
But that makes more sense,
Like the video, yeah. But,
right? That there's a bear. Yeah,
Huh. Yeah.
it looks like my dog.
Yeah. Close enough. One of those polar bear.
All right, what's
dogs.
the next song?
Yeah, let's move on there. So yeah, perfect is cats. Good line. Cool reference.
Yeah.
The Dream also has a tumbling cat in this one.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
very conveniently rhymes with vampire bat.
Vampire bat.
Which is,
Yeah.
not the last vampire bat either.
I watch in fascination like a vampire bat.
Yeah, so that kind of leads me to believe that he loves nature shows.
Yeah.
Or going to the zoo, like one of the two. He's got to be able to understand, he's got to be portraying himself as like some sort of animal, and like he sees himself as a vampire bat, but like he kind of understands what they do and how they look and how they move, and not either from literature or just looking at them.
Yeah.
But he's just I don't think he's just going to throw it in there just to make it sound cool.
Right.
I think he actually understands what's going on with animals, and just with like the shake dog shake thing. It's like, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Like there's, I don't know, I kind of picture a dog snarl more than anything. But yeah, my dogs shake when they're either scared, or they have really bad shits. So it's one of the two. So
My dog shakes when she is frustrated,
okay,
and also when she's trying to de-escalate with the cats.
okay,
It's like shaking it
Yeah.
off. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
okay, very cool. Yeah. Um, yeah, I admire the fact that he uses all these animals. So
Yeah, it is cool.
I love it.
Real observant fella, that guy.
Yeah.
over there. I think that.
He probably watched a lot of David Attenborough growing up, you would think.
That's what I'm thinking too,
You
but
know?
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, didn't
It
David
make a lot of
Attenborough
sense.
like come out and do a thing at Glastonbury right before The Cure came on?
Really, I didn't know that.
Ooh.
That'd be cool.
Maybe it wasn't right before The Cure, but it was that
Somewhere
day.
in there. Yeah. Wow. That'd be cool.
because-
He went over all the Cure's songs with animals on it.
Like a PowerPoint
Talk about them all.
presentation.
Did some fact checking.
Now,
Yeah.
shake, dog, shake.
Ah.
That's just.
Yeah, I'm surprised you got the next one you guys put on here is you guys kind of took it out of left field here, the glove, like an animal.
Like an animal.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't really comb through all the other stuff. I just took that one. It's right there in the title. So I think we should count it.
Well,
I mean, you could do Susie's, what is it, Swimming Horses?
Yeah, it's just hyena
Or-
and everything because he's part of that album. But swimming horses. Those are the little side note honorable mentions, I guess.
Oh, did you put that in there? I missed
I didn't put it in there, but yeah,
Oh,
I
okay,
figured
okay.
that was a little too far. But glove,
with the glove, we also have Mr. Alphabet says, smile like a weasel as I cover you in
Yeah.
treacle, which I had to look up in a dictionary the first time I heard it. I was like, what is treacle?
treacle,
And it's
Treacle
gross.
matter?
It's
treacle
gross.
matter. Oh. Yeah, huh?
Like bloody
Good
guts.
catch. Yeah, I figured there must be something else in that album, if not in definitely that song. So that's cool.
Oh, wait, no. Okay. It's not completely gross.
No?
It just makes it sound like it's gross the way he says it.
Cover me in
It's
treacle.
basically treacle is an uncrystallized syrup made from the refining of sugar. The most common forms of treacle are golden syrup and pale. All right, it just goes on and on.
Okay.
It's liquid sugar. Liquid sugar.
Okay.
Not too bad. Mr.
But it sounds
Alphabet.
gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Still don't trust what he's
Um,
doing with that treacle.
Also, cloying sentimentality or flattery.
Okay.
Okay.
So, anyway,
Sweets.
weasels are smile like a weasel is not a compliment.
Nah. Yeah, that's-
No.
No, we got our two big ones coming up. Dogs versus cats. Once again, here we go. We mentioned Shake Dog Shake, but we have Love Cats coming up right before that.
Yeah.
So that one's all full of cats. Any way you look at it, no denying it. So,
The pictures that are taken from, everything is cats.
yeah.
Cats.
So this song.
Which, I mean, he wrote that song kind of just to make a ridiculous pop song. Right?
Yeah, it's hard to say how much he's a big Disney fan though, I guess, and Aristocats.
Yeah.
I think that
Aristocats,
was
yeah.
supposed to be,
Yeah.
you never really know how much of these meanings he attaches to it after the song's already written or what, but yeah, I've seen that in interviews and stuff, and this is supposed to be pretty closely following that. So, yeah, it's cool though. I love that it all is very cat-like too. The whole song feels very cat-like. Directly
Oh, yeah.
responsible for getting my son Henson to love The Cure, I think, because he's just this big cat fan and latched onto this song immediately. And then it was like more after this. So this is the one that did it for him.
Just a good entry level
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
for a younger set.
Right. That's where Donald would enter and say, "Yeah, your kid was 6 years old. This song was written for 6-year-olds. That's why it's bullshit."
It's too literal.
It's too literal.
But it worked, and I guess not literal. Shake Dog Shake. There's a lot going on with that one. That's probably not so much directly about dogs, but pretty.
You never know.
Yeah, maybe. But so yeah, it's pretty cool that those two are back to back. It takes on the full dog approach here. So, as a sick dog, yeah.
Stale and selfish as a sick dog, spurning sex like an animal of God.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not exactly like, yeah, dogs are cute.
Yeah. This is a weird one.
Fuck you, Robert.
I want to dig up for, I always want to do a part 2 to our misinterpreted lyrics one. When you really look at some of this song in particular, every time I look at the lyrics, I'm like, again, I was like, I always feel like I know this song like through and through, but like if I had to like perfectly match each one, I think I just make up words when I'm singing it, like a lot of times. Like that line, I'm just like, oh, that's what he's saying there? Because a lot of it rambles really quick together.
Yeah.
And when I'm reading them, it's like, oh, yeah, that's clearly what he's saying. But spurring sex like an animal, God. Yeah, I mean, it's like...
yeah, that line, I really never...
Which is funny because, yeah, if I was like at a show shouting out the lyrics, it's like I don't think I'd be getting like 60% of it right. Probably. Like I don't know what the hell I would be saying, but it's like I don't think I'm saying this, but it's cool.
I mean, you get the shake part.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right,
the shake,
so
and the razor
that would
blades,
pump up your
and all the
numbers
key
right there.
lines. It's just this little.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, Shake Dog Shake. Love cats. Let's move on. We're into the top now. So. Brace yourself, Chaz. Bird Mad Girl.
I'm gonna check out for a little bit.
Bird Mad Girl. Aside from the bird in the title, it also says what? The polar bear one. So
right.
I could be
Yeah.
like a polar bear.
So I've often wondered when he says bird mad girl, if he is saying that birds are crazy and therefore the girl is crazy. Like bird mad.
Yeah.
Mad meaning crazy. Or if she's mad about birds, like myself.
Right.
And so then when he also uses that line later on in Burn,
yeah.
Bird mad girl, sounds like a compliment to me rather than like she's crazy like a bird, but I don't know.
Yeah. It could go either way, I guess. But yeah, the fact that it reoccurs is always... feels like there's something that must be a little more than just a random line he pulled out. If he's going to use it like twice or something, there's something more to it. So that's very cool.
It could be about just like one person, I guess, and that's maybe like a nickname.
Gee. And this is a literary one, right? Wasn't this like a Salinger short story or something? I felt like when we did that one, I pulled... Banana Fish Bones is. Okay, yeah. So I'm not sure if this one had any.
Perfect Day for Banana Fish is J.D. Salinger.
Right on. But yeah, the polar bear line's great. Kind of what? I remember like loving this song when I was in middle school art class. I told this story way early on with Donald, but I was just sitting there doodling on a test, and I wrote I could be like a polar bear or something real big at the top of my like art test, and the teacher handed it back with this like really like concerned red ink, like, but why? With a question mark.
Why?
Just being like a snotty kid's like, she doesn't get it, like she's supposed to be like, oh, you're referencing Bird Mad Girl, I see.
Nowadays.
Yeah, maybe, but
I would say I see that Robert Smith, a fan of poet Dylan Thomas, was likely inspired to write Bird Mad Girl from Thomas's poem Love in an Asylum.
Okay, yeah.
The stranger has come to share my room in the house, not right in the head. A girl mad as birds. Okay, so that would be crazy as birds.
Okay, yeah.
Not right in the head. That's me too. Oh my God.
Awesome. Well, we cracked that code. Good job, team. Awesome. Wailing Wall we got next. So we got the vulture. waiting at the
Oh,
Wailing
yeah.
Wall. So his excommunication station song, his big religious number, right? Is that what this is all about? The Wailing Wall.
Oh yeah. I was like, I don't think this has anything to do with
Actual.
like Susie's Israel song or anything.
Yeah, this was like his version. Or
Yeah.
It just seems. Yeah, I had when I taught 7th grade. Somehow we got talking about the Wailing Wall. So I was like,
Oh yeah.
Well, this seems like a good time as any. Everyone be quiet. They're like, it sucks, Mr. Carter. Turn this crap off.
Oh, so you played it.
Yeah, they all
Awesome.
hated it.
I didn't realize you were a school teacher.
Only officially for a very short period of time, but yeah, it was
Okay.
like 2 years where I did middle school, and it was a disaster. So then I just been subbing on and off around that, and still subbing.
This is the reason why.
Yeah, that one killed me. Sadly, it wasn't at the kids either. It was just all the administrative bullshit that I went through, and not cool. Story for another day, as they say. But yeah, I'm still subbing elementary school now, so doing it tomorrow actually. So
Oh,
Henson's class though, I just sub his class now.
no
So,
way.
yeah,
Oh,
so
man.
it's like the only thing that makes it fun now is at least I can just like torment his friends and stuff. I'm probably gonna scar
like,
him for
"Dad."
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes it fun. Give me it. So this one has pig in it, and also the Sing Bird Sing, which got referenced again when you had put it in. Was it Harold and Joe? I didn't catch that. That's what he's saying at the end of Harold and Joe later on. I was like, Sing Bird Sing, that's in another one. I'm like, oh yeah, that's in Give Me It Too. So that's another weird one that I don't know how conscious he was of bringing that line back. You never know.
He just might write stuff down and be like, I'm going to use that again.
He
Yeah.
might, or he might forget, that he used it.
Yeah. So.
I do like that. Okay, he also mentions cats in Give Me It.
Okay.
Slit the cats like cheese, then eat the sweet sticky
Sticky
things.
things.
This whole song is just so crazy.
Yeah, this thing's nuts.
I'm sure you love it, Chaz, right? It's like your
I love
favorite
it.
of all of
Yeah.
all of your
Yeah.
songs. I actually like really like this song. For like if you're really pissed off about something and you put it
Yeah.
on because the drums, Andy Anderson's drums are amazing on this.
Yeah, it's so like just tension filled. That's why I like it a lot, but I skip it a lot.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's
Well, if you're not in the
not
mood,
in the
uh-huh.
mood, it's just like, oh god. But,
You might just skip the whole album, right, Chaz?
yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple in here I like. I think we went back in time and I mentioned some of the songs that I definitely do enjoy. So
Yeah.
the three of them.
The three.
And mentioned too, as far as personal stories with each, forgive me it. With Casey was pregnant with Henson, and she wanted to just give me some dubious task to help out that I think now in hindsight, or she was like, make like a mix, where I could listen to like a mix while I'm, going through the grooming
Giving
parts.
birth?
And, yeah. Or like, like most of be like the build up, but like, so like an idiot, I like made this 12-hour long mix and like just had the whole thing planned out. I was like, all right, now it's going to really start hurting. And then like timing it for like right when it's like at its worst, I put like, give me it. I'm like, yeah, that would be like the perfect, like pushing a baby out song. Like just like instead of like punk rock song or something, it would be like this horrible saxophone thing ripping. It's like,
And this is why you only have one child.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
lot of stuff is coming out tonight.
Suck harder, suck your insides out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Inspirational.
Gasping for air.
Gasping for air.
But needless to say, she ripped the iPod out of her ears like in the first hour of all of it, and she didn't make it more than like 3 songs into this. She's like, turn this shit off, I'm dying. Oh my God. It's like, damn it, but you didn't make
All
it
my
to the
time
best part.
wasted. You just get really offended and walk out.
It's like, I thought you loved me. Oh dear. Caterpillar is a lovely tune. And,
Yeah.
and about a caterpillar. You don't get, other than the metaphor, caterpillar to butterfly. Never gets old,
Yeah.
right? So that's a good one.
That's a surprising one that he doesn't reuse. I don't know. I would
Yeah, he
picture
would.
him using something like that, like change kind of metaphor.
Yeah, I mean, he
Yeah,
pretty
but
much nailed it with this one without even overly saying it, you know?
It's overdone.
Yeah.
trope.
The
I-
trope, exactly. It's like
I-
all the graduation speeches that you ever
Yes, we
heard.
are now caterpillars. We will be butterflies. But yeah, but I mean, four over is overdone. It is. This song really does capture it perfectly, you know?
Hmm.
I
As if
feel
you
like
knew it would disappear away.
Yeah. Where's
Sorry,
my
I
little
just
book? Is it out of order? Oh, well.
no, I'm just throwing Cure lyrics in
Yeah.
randomly because that's does that happen to you when you're in a conversation with somebody and they say something that's like the beginning of a phrase in a Cure song and you
You
just
just
finish
have
it
to
in your
finish
head
it.
or out
Yeah,
loud
probably
and
pretty
they're like,
much.
huh,
I'll
what?
just go
I
into
just
some
do that with movies or obscure references nobody gets, and then they just kind of look at me like I'm crazy.
like, cool, man. Totally.
Cool.
Awesome. So yeah, Caterpillar. Let's see, Piggy in the Mirror. We're still in the top, man. We still got quite a few top ones. There. Piggy in the
Yeah.
Mirror. Of course, just being self-deprecating, I guess, right? So I always took it.
Yeah, that was something like a commentary. I just read something about this, like because people started calling him fat at some point in the press.
So then,
Like he
yeah,
was kind of like the voice. Look at the piggy in the mirror is like him hearing the words of the people who were writing about his appearance or something like
yeah.
that.
Which is crazy. You look back at those photos now, I'm like, what? It's like, wasn't even close to anything being overweight. What are you?
Yeah.
It's like,
He's been more ridiculed. Like I've never, maybe I just haven't paid attention, but for a frontman in a band
yeah, it is.
to have so much scrutiny
It is odd for,
is odd. Yeah,
yeah.
it's not
It
right.
seems to have handled it great too. You know, I don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't
Yeah.
see him. You just go like, fuck it. But maybe he is destroyed by it. It can't be. But yeah, it is odd. Nobody else got that shit. It seems like
Right.
that's very weird. But
They still do it. Like it's in articles
Yeah,
now
yeah.
about him performing. I'm like, who fucking? What the fuck?
Yeah,
Who
well, now
fucking
it's
cares?
stupid.
It's so
Yeah.
stupid.
So old
Yeah.
now. Like like it doesn't like he's not 25 years old and like the supermodel
yeah.
like that everybody pictures him to be. But like I don't know. Like I look at those pictures like even back then and I'm like I don't know what everybody's looking at.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I don't know. What are you even comparing him to?
Like
But
20-year-old Robert Smith that was thin as a rail and wearing pants up to his
yeah, like
his rib cage.
I'd make fun of him if I saw him just for being looking like a dork.
just
Um
I just feel
anything
like
past that.
glorious
I'm
hair.
never,
Like he can look however he wants, especially by top
Yeah.
arrows. Like Jesus Christ, what's going on with that hair? It looks amazing. You
know.
can get as like fat or skinny as you want, dude. If you're like rocking that hairdo, it's like
That was like really peak Robert Smith. I have
Yeah, it
to
was
say,
just like-
that
had like a whole-
especially the caterpillar video. It's
yeah, it's like a
really carefully done somehow.
yeah, it's like a
talk about a
quarter
bird's nest, right?
Yeah,
Right,
totally.
right, yeah.
Before I start gushing about his hairdo again, so let's move on.
I haven't had enough opportunities to go.
Yeah, you can cover it for me. The Empty World has birds in it again. So I feel like birds are running away with this one. They're all over.
Oh yeah.
Eyes like poison birds.
Not a good look. For the
Yeah.
eyes. Yeah.
Poison eyes. Let's see. Banana Fishbone comes up after that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the
is there-
banana fish is an
Yeah.
actual fish.
Right. So,
Hippa hippa hippa.
hippo,
Maybe
hippo.
that's,
That's a code
Hippo,
for
hippo, hippo.
hippopotamus.
Hungry hippos.
Hungry hippo.
There is a Japanese manga series that was originally serialized from May 1985 to April 1994 called Banana Fish,
Ah,
which is also suspected to have been somehow inspired by the J.D. Salinger short story. Good
Yeah,
day for Fanfish.
any of the ones that come close to literary stuff, I'm sure that's all he's dwelling in, probably. So, makes sense. Torture as we move into Kiss Me with the vampire bat makes its second appearance.
Wait, were there no animals in
No
Head on the Door
animals?
I went through it. I did not see one.
Yeah, that's
just
weird.
fish,
But I could be
fish
wrong.
on the cover? Just
Yeah.
So no, yeah.
Interesting.
Cool. Well, Kiss Me. Vampire Bat is back, like I said. Maybe we'll move a little faster through that one. And Snake Pit's pretty obvious, pit full of snakes. So, another big one that people always reference with anything animal related. All I Want is this
To hold
big,
you like a dog.
Yeah. It's probably up there with one of the most like misunderstood ones too. People always like, is it a doll or dog? And then you get the lyrics out. Fucking hey, it is a dog. Hold you like a dog.
I never knew anybody took it like that. I always thought it was
I've
dog.
heard that a bunch of times. People always argue about whether it's a doll or a dog. But dog it is, right? So
How do you hold a dog? How does Robert hold a dog?
like that picture we were
Is
talking
it like
about.
a small dog? Is it like a little Shih Tzu dog, or is it a big dog?
I'm thinking it's slightly bigger, like he's just getting a full on couch cuddle with it or something.
Oh, I can cuddle with the dog. I got two big ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, because usually little dog, you'd just be kind of
Put them on your lap.
right.
Right.
I want to hold you like that, like a little tiny.
It's on my lap.
Carry
my
you
purse.
around in my purse. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're back to Fish for Hot, Hot, Hot as they get rained down, right? Is that or just lit up all the fish like rain and rain them down?
Raining down on me.
Another one of your favorites, right, Chaz?
Oh, I actually like this. You know what? I don't mind this song. I think Donald was the director on this one.
Yeah.
I like the song live more than listening to it. So
Yeah.
Like Cockatoos, again, pretty straightforward that one.
No, not straightforward.
Not
Okay,
straightforward.
This is one I did some
Okay,
research on.
good.
Okay, because that is the only instance in where he references a specific species of bird,
Sure.
as opposed to just saying birds, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And the reason I even think about this is because my husband Brian writes poetry, and he in his spare time, and he has said that during some a class where he was learning about writing, that if you're going to mention something like birds, be more specific. Like, what kind of bird is it? Is it a sparrow? Is it a hawk? Is it a vulture? That makes a big difference in descriptions and whatnot. So, but the cockatoos, that's definitely like a literary reference that he was somehow inspired by this short story by a writer named Patrick White. And I was reading that particular short story earlier today to see what the reference points were. And really, I think he just was like, oh, cockatoos. Yeah, I need something more specific.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes total sense.
But if you look into the dude who wrote it
Yeah.
and the stuff that he writes, I could see why Robert would be like, ooh, yeah, I like this. It's like kind of twisted, beautiful descriptions, beautiful use of words, but then also like things like farts. It just unexpected,
Awesome.
like vulgarity.
What was the name again?
His name is Patrick White.
Okay.
And he was an Australian writer who he received the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1973. And then in 1974, this anthology of his short stories came out. And the anthology is called The Cockatoos.
Okay.
And then in that, there is a short story called The Cockatoos. And if I don't know why Robert would have read it,
right.
why this came across his reading desk, because in 1974 he was pretty young for reading like this
Yeah.
kind of stuff, but I don't know. But there's all kinds of weird like sexual stuff. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I felt like I jotted that name down in the past of like, check out this dude, but I never have
There's a
seen
very
anything.
short interview with him right after he won the Nobel Prize on
Uh-huh.
YouTube, and it gives you a sense of just how spacey this guy was,
Awesome. Yeah, that's
but
cool.
fascinating and weird.
Yeah, and like you're saying, just being more specific definitely is core. If you replace like just it with birds, it definitely doesn't
Like
have the same.
birds.
Yeah, like birds is the name of the song.
The night sang out like birds would
Yeah,
not be the same
like
as
birds.
cockatoos. Have you ever heard a cockatoo?
Yeah, it's
Like it's
crazy.
grating. Did you hear when Gavin, when you were in Costa Rica, did you hear
Mhm.
any parrots?
Yeah, we heard all kinds of crazy
Like,
stuff. That was
like
yeah, a bunch that they got onto the birds more than me. The was it Putu, something like that. The Put, I'm probably mispronouncing it, but
yeah, no,
is
yeah,
that yeah, yeah, and it says like Paul. It almost sounds like you're saying Paul, So we're listening for this damn bird like all week, and then we finally heard it on like the last day. I was like, we heard it, we heard the Paul bird. Like Paul, Paul.
they're not pretty. They're not like, and
Oh
this is
yeah,
another
those
bird.
little.
See, I can just go on, but like bird nerd thing is that the most beautiful birds, the ones that have like the most beautiful plumage, often have the ugliest songs.
Right. Huh.
Oh, well,
And if
okay.
you think about it, like parrots, gorgeous, but
And yeah.
they don't have to learn to sing when they look that good.
Yeah, that's
It's all about attracting the
Very
ladies.
true.
yeah. It's a good lesson in there.
So listen to a cockatoo on YouTube and you'll be shocked.
Shall we move on to monkeys then? Perhaps my favorite animal outside of ones that you can actually hang out with most of the time. But Japanese dream as a monkey. Burning like a monkey. Is that what he's saying there? Burning like a monkey.
I believe so.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Like some outbreak shit or something. Like
I don't know.
I
yeah.
think it's another drug-induced thing because that was
Yeah.
a Japanese dream, all right.
Yeah, it's a pretty prominent line in that song too. It comes back to it a lot. So, all right, but maybe the only monkey in any of the Cure ones. Do we have any other monkey ones?
Well, if you include the lemur,
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're in disintegration now. We got Lullaby. We got Spiders and Spider-Man. But we'll just stick to Spiders. Antonio was torn on that one, so that's probably why he opted out of this episode. And it's like, what? What are y'all talking about? Spider-Man. No, Spiders. So,
Spider-Man.
yeah, so we're at least
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
got
yes.
lots of spider talk in this one, the whole damn song. So, again, age-old question, metaphor. Is he really getting eaten by a giant spider? Who knows? It could be whatever you want it to be. So,
Just a dream.
just a dream. Who knows? So surprisingly, not too many spider ones though either, because you would think that would be the stereotypical Cure song about spiders or whatever. So it's like there really hasn't been maybe a few casual drops in the pornography era, but we really haven't had too many spiders. So
Yeah,
Well, he
that's
doesn't
surprising.
particularly like them, does he?
yeah, it didn't really seem like it based on
Yeah.
what we've heard from this. This is like some traumatic nightmare or whatever. So,
If you've ever, there was one night when I was listening to Lullaby at the same time where I saw a spider. Have you ever had a wolf spider in your house?
oh
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they're big,
Nasty.
right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
get huge.
And it was moving, and I'm like, the sound of like the rhythm and the when you see a spider moving at the same time that you're listening to that song, you're like, holy fuck, that's exactly what they would
they
sound
totally
like if they were playing the
captured it.
song themselves.
Yeah, I love that. That's just like when you see like the webs in the live show and shit, like it just captures that
Yeah.
perfectly. It really is a good. Yeah, so we got the spiders, then we got a weird one with Babel. I put next on the list there. Babel out in simile, like doghead monkey music me. So we got another monkey one there. So doghead monkey music me.
Yeah, I didn't add that into the list. I don't think I did. That I gave to you.
Yeah, I think I found that one later. I was like, I think he's saying something about a monkey in that. But I didn't catch the dog head though. I don't think I knew that's what he was saying, or I just invented a word again over that when I sing along. But yeah. Who knows on that one?
Yeah, not my favorite song, so
Yeah. But then it gets topped for weirdness by Kate's discovery of Out of Mind, where he flat out says imaginary lemurs in the street. So
In the middle of the day.
yeah. And then second verse with a very sketchy laboratory rat when he says laboratory. It's very slurry. Like I even listened back, I was like, is that what he's saying? Like what the hell? That's like the same line, second verse, I guess, but going through the maze on that one. So yeah,
I'm gonna have to listen to this one because I didn't even know that was in there.
You know, the only reason I knew about that was when post the 2019 festival shows, there Arusha started up these watch parties, and during these watch parties, every once in a while I would like come up with some kind of, in the chat I would come up with a quiz, you know, and if whoever answered something right, I would send them a little Cure Threads thing.
Cool.
And one of them was, you know, what are some animals mentioned? How many animals can you mention from a Cure song? And somebody said lemurs. I was like, what are you talking about? I've never... Oh yeah. There
you go. Yeah, I mean, out of Mind is a kind of forgotten gem too, you know. I don't know. It's one that you never really dwell on lyrically, especially when lumped in with all the Disintegration stuff. You're like, what? Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So pretty cool. Go check it out, kids. It's in there. Lemurs and rats. And crocodiles and Disintegration, the song. So yeah, that one's right. I almost thought that song probably would have more than one in there too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I was going through it and I'm like, there's got to be. Hold on, let me think of this. Let me see the lyrics over in my head. Nope, just crocodiles.
So like
I'm assuming that has to like be a reference to crocodile tears.
Yeah, crocodiles cry. Yeah.
I wonder where that comes from, like the crocodile tears.
Yeah, like
etymology.
That crocodile doesn't really cry. He's faking it.
Yeah, somebody had to say it at some point.
Yeah, I was like,
don't believe him this time.
That's going to stick. Some professor and a thing is like, these are just crocodile tears. And everyone's like, I'll jot that down. We're going to use this again. So,
the phrase derives from an ancient belief that crocodiles shed tears while consuming their prey, and as such is present in many modern languages, especially in Europe, where it is introduced through Latin. While crocodiles do have tear ducts, they weep to lubricate their eyes, typically when they have been out of the water for a long time.
Ooh. So it just happens to be when they're consuming their prey.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. So they look like they're crying sometimes, I guess, but it's just like to lubricate their eyes and not that they're in pain or they're sad.
Or feeling sorrowful that they're eating something.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah. Save your crocodile tears. Damn. Well, there you go. See, all kinds of knowledge being dropped in this episode, man. Harold and Joe at the very last line, right? Sing, birds, sing. That was, I almost wonder.
Didn't even pick up on that one.
Yeah, if I know that's what he's saying. It's like one of those things. I guess we're out of the lyric book now, so we got to rely on Google. They really should update this book, by the way. I'm gonna add that to my list of complaints about shit that should be released. You know. So
the lyric book.
Yeah, this Song Words one that just ends at disintegration. They need to put a new version out.
Yeah.
Well, it's officially all on the website, I guess. So
Nah, that ain't gonna last. That's a fad.
it's a
What's gonna happen when all the power goes down?
That's right. Then how are you going to know? How are you going to know?
So yeah, Harold and Joe, he says sing birds sing, which again, like we said, was referenced in Give Me It too. So Harold and Joe supposed to be some kind of Give Me It reference. Who knows? But let's move on. Hi has kitten as a cat, so we're back to cats. So kitten as a cat.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I think this is one of the most notable ones. Like I don't know, when they sing a song, like it's kind of like when you say name a animal in a Cure song. This is probably one of the
it's a pretty
ones
prominent
that everybody
one.
thinks about the most. So
maybe it is the cat like howl that kind of gives it a or meow.
I mean, that's what came to my mind first when I was thinking about
it's
this. I was like, kitten as cat. I was like,
write that down. Yeah, there's like first 5 that you just write down real fast.
Yeah.
Shake dog shake. Love cats. Kitten as a cat. Hi. Foolish arrangement. Fish. That one definitely didn't jump out at me at first.
Yeah, it didn't get me either, but yeah.
Fish may take a while.
Yep.
What does that mean? You don't want to.
Branzino's cooking.
You don't want to cook them too long because they dry out.
Like fishing, maybe might take a while. To find a fish.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a feast of the 7 fishes or whatever it's called.
That's going to take a while.
It's going to take a while, guys.
What are you eating, Chaz?
Oh, I had ice cream earlier, like in my cup. So sorry.
No, just wondering.
It would have been cooler if it was fish. Like, just munching on some.
I think I need some
snapper.
ice cream now.
Yeah, some sea bass, some delicious sea bass.
Bass-o-matic.
Yeah.
I'm
we got
just eating fish over here.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
Burn is referencing some kind of bird. I can't think of what it is. Oh yeah, the crow.
I have to say that the bird sample in the beginning of that song sounds more like a raven than a crow to me. But
yeah, they got their samples.
Is more raven than crow.
Makes sense that he would be like, that sounds bad. Yeah, crows are more like, like real shitty sounding.
Two different things.
Yeah, good point.
This is great. This is awesome.
I can only do the most annoying bird sounds, by the way.
We'll just pile them on here as we wrap this up. Strange Attraction, Tiny Book of Butterflies. So, while butterflies,
I love that song, and I didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, so you gotta give the shout out to the butterflies. Do they actually say butterfly in Caterpillar?
No.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
fly away from me, but that's it.
Yeah, doesn't. Cool. And sticking in that vein somewhat, for the 13th, we have Killer Bees. So,
Killer Bees.
The Bees.
Wu-Tang reference. I like that.
Yeah. Which leads me to think of this great moment on Hanging MTV. I don't know if you guys recall this clip or from the day when Wish they would just come over to tour for Wish, and Hanging with MTV was like the after school like TRL or whatever the hell, but it was like, and they had like a contest winner thing where these two entered a contest and they'd won, and they brought them onto the set and they surprised them and came out and everything, and as a gift. So I don't know why they had a gift. I guess they thought they were going to see them later because they had tickets to go to a Cure show was the prize or something like that. But so she had a bee puppet that she gave him, and she said that she had read that he was a big fan of bees, and she gave him a little hand puppet of a bee. And Robert was kind of snarky about it. He's like, well, why has it got 6 legs? And he's like, because bees have 6 legs. He's like, but I don't. I'm a human. And she's like, ah! It So I don't know. That always
I've
stuck
never
in my
seen
head.
that. I've
But I never
seen
heard
that.
that he was like a huge B fan either. So I don't know. Maybe that was from one of those like fan club things or something. But so yeah, definitely look that one up, everyone. It's a classically awkward, wonderful Cure and Perry are just sitting there all weird. And the Hanging with MTV band plays like this funky version of Let's Go to Bed. I think it was like wow 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 wow, and they're just like, yeah, hey, welcome to Hanging with MTV. All the like VJs wore like black that one day and stuff to try to look cool for the Cure. They're all like, yeah, little extra eyeliner that day. But so yeah, it's a good clip. Let's move on. Mint Carr has birds in it too. As the birds sing and they swing. So
Yeah, but I'm surprised there wasn't one for Friday Men in Love. That was a
yeah.
surprise
Cheer, cheer.
with all the things that he puts in that song. And just like no,
No time for animals.
jumping like a rabbit or humping like a rabbit or anything like that.
I kind of have a mental connection of when he says my favorite line to see you eat in the middle of the night. Like, what kind of animals eat in the middle of the night? Cats.
True.
Mm.
So I have a mental image.
Vampire bats.
Vampire bats. Absolutely right. Spot on, Chess.
Snakes and spiders.
Spiders. Yeah, all of the animals. They all eat in the middle of the night.
Only the ones that he likes.
That's right.
And then we move on to Wrong Number, which has 3 powerful animals
God.
in it. Snakes, birds again, and worms make a reappearance. We haven't seen worms in a while in a Cure song. So the early, not so early bird gets
Weird
the worm
song.
or wherever the line is, and then snakes are earlier in it. So yeah.
I didn't even try. I didn't even think to look at that song.
Didn't even want to think about it long enough.
I don't
to
even
pull
want to
it.
think about it. I hate when they play that song live so much.
Yeah, you're really anti.
No,
I
not
was
at all.
glad they gave it a rest on this last tour, but I'm not quite as anti it as a lot of people. But it's
Hopefully, it drove some nails in the coffin with some of those new songs they put in there.
let it go. Yeah. Where the Birds Always Sing is the final song on our list from Bloodflowers. So, again, man, if you're right, Kate, if you'd swapped out Where the Birds Always Sing, it might be a little more interesting. If where the
Penguins.
Penguins always sing, people are like, whoa, he's totally lost his mind, but this is great.
The wrens.
But yeah, I mean, maybe that's kind of why those type of songs didn't really, wasn't really specific enough. So I could see spicing that song up in particular with something else, So, but yeah. So anybody listening out there, if we missed any, definitely let us know. You can waste a whole day of your life going through every Cure song and trying to see some that we'll post our list on our Facebook page there and elsewhere. And and in particular later, I would be curious if we missed something it does seem a little odd that there wasn't any after one song on Bloodflowers, but
Well, of the
I'd
new
be surprised.
songs,
Yeah,
of the new
even
songs
the
you
new
have
songs.
Alone, and he says where the birds falling out of our skies.
Okay.
So
There
there's
you go.
birds
See?
reference, which I'm curious. I have a theory that song,
Uh-huh.
the lyrics to me feel like very pandemic-y, but that may not make sense because all of this music was written far before the pandemic. But
Yeah, who knows?
there was a period where during the pandemic there was like a massive like bird event of birds falling out of the sky. And I wonder if that had any influence on those lyrics.
We'll never know till we get to read them.
Yeah,
That's right.
It'd be nice to just read them inside some liner notes.
When we get the reissue 20 years from now, and there's liner notes.
That'll be the first time it comes out.
Yeah, this is the 20-year reissue of the album that never came out.
Yes.
But it further proves our point, though, that he needed to get back to including some animals because that song kicks ass, and so we're like, oh yeah, that's the missing
really
ingredient.
good song.
So there you go. So speaking of new songs, Kate, you were lucky enough to go see them on the tour, right?
I was lucky in that I spent money I shouldn't have spent.
Lucky enough to
But
bankrupt the
yeah.
whole house and family. No, but it sounded like from, sorry I didn't get to reply to your email today too, but there was a lot of really awesome stuff you'd said in there, how the stars did align in a sense that you were able to, and you were further convinced yourself and by others maybe that this is something you should jump on, and we're happy for it in the long run, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I had never been, not that I'm a one of these people that have followed the Cure extensively, who are very admirable in their ability to do these things.
Yeah.
Because when just like flying to Ireland and getting off the plane and then 2 days later being at a show, still having jet lag was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, how old am I?
Yeah.
Um, and my knees were hurting, my back was hurting, my neck was hurting from being on an airplane.
Yeah.
But not to complain, but yeah, the experience was really, really great to be in another country, even if it wasn't a non-English speaking country.
Yeah.
Um, Being in a more international setting was cool. Um, and it was on my bucket list to see The Cure at Wembley,
Yeah.
just because all these iconic
Yeah.
concerts have happened at Wembley. And
Well, just for the people there, so what were the ones you did see then? To the shows that you saw, the four?
so I went to Dublin because the airfare in and out of Dublin was super radical cheap, like
Yeah.
less than 450 per person round trip.
Wow.
That
That's
was sort of
awesome.
a deciding factor. I had bought tickets to the shows because I could at the time, and I thought, I'll make it happen. I'll make it happen. I'll
Yeah.
work so hard, and all of my work just dropped off during that time. So
Mm.
it was a hard decision at the last minute, but then the airfare was really, really inexpensive. And we figured, yeah, we'll fly in and out of Dublin. That's easy. No, because getting from Dublin over to Cardiff was hard enough. Like
Yeah.
Allison, I ran into Allison eventually, even though she and I we were both in Dublin. I didn't see
Okay.
Allison in Dublin because my knees were hurting me too much to be in the standing audience. I ended up switching seats with somebody to be in the seated audience. And we finally did meet in Wembley. And oh my God, she's so fun. Like,
Yeah.
it's everything that you wish for when you meet a Cure fan, a fellow Cure fan, that when you meet, you're just going to be like, oh my God, I feel like I've known you all my life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was like meeting
Awesome.
Allison. Yeah.
Very
Um,
cool.
but Cardiff was a strange town. Cardiff was kind of like a college town in a fairy tale world of Wales. You've got this like capital that is a college city.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of cool stuff happened in Cardiff. A lot of cool stuff happened in Dublin.
Awesome.
But Wembley, where more of the accidental meeting of people happened. Actually, no, Cardiff that happened. I'm sorry.
Okay.
See,
Yeah,
you
no
can't
problem.
even put this stuff in the whole
Yeah,
podcast
it's like
because
a
it's all
whole.
mixed up. Like my brain's all jumbled because it
No
was it
worries.
was all it all happened so
How did
weirdly.
most the people you ran into? Would it just be like a you see them, or was there any kind of communication like text
Well, that
going
was the
on or
thing. If you
anything?
tried to make it happen, it didn't happen.
Right.
Because there was no way, like I didn't have good cell reception, or our
Mm.
T-Mobile Philadelphia apparently doesn't know where Ireland is, whereas other
Yeah.
people with T-Mobile were able to get in touch with one another. And then Wi-Fi, you had it in your hotel room, but then you had to like find places that had Wi-Fi
Hmm.
to connect with people, and those people might not be online the same time you were online, and
Yeah. It's
then the
this.
show happened. So it wasn't easy. But then in Cardiff, I knew that there were people there, and that was a town where not a whole lot, like there's like the greater super touring group of Cure fans that you
Hmm.
see talking online and stuff, and they weren't
Yeah.
all going to be in Cardiff, but there were some. And I know what it was. I was wearing my Love Cats shirt,
Right on.
the one with the cat pattern on it that I had
Yeah.
designed. And when people saw me, they're like, oh, you're Kate You're Cure Threads. I was like, yeah,
Awesome.
this is me. I'm like, oh, because you don't recognize people. And
Yeah.
it would turn out like there would be people who were standing 3 feet away from me that I didn't even know were that close, but you're just so overwhelmed by the crowd
Yeah, I
and the
bet.
experience that you just don't, you're not looking, or you're not taking in that information.
Yeah.
Like if Chaz, you could have stood 3 people away from me and I'd be like, I had no idea.
Yeah,
Even if I
exactly.
walk past you 4 times because I'm in a cure
Yeah.
buzz,
Yeah.
and
And
I'm
everything out of
only,
context. Yeah,
yeah,
you're not
yeah.
really looking for so and so that you talk to 3 times online or something.
Mhm.
It's like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
that's so yeah, that's cool that they were able to make the connection from your shirt and stuff too. So that's even
Yeah, I would have done
awesome.
that more if I had thought about it ahead of time. Because
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like that guy who wears their own shirt,
Yeah.
you know?
Like it's me. Yeah.
Like,
That's a,
and nobody went to Dublin that went everywhere else because it
yeah.
took an extra like flight over another sea to get to Dublin.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
And also, it's not in the UK. So people who lived in the UK did not go to Ireland.
Okay.
There was a big party in Belfast, there was a big party in Glasgow, but there was nothing in Dublin.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, interesting. Did you feel like that show, like performance wise or anything, you could tell a difference? Or were they pretty much just doing their own kind of Cure thing at each show? Was it, could you detect the vibes or anything?
Well, I mean, it really varied depending on where I was seated or standing
Yeah.
too. So you get a whole different sonic experience being far back. So I was up in
Yeah.
the top, the lower balcony in Dublin, and that was a good acoustic place. That place did not have as many people crowded down on the floor as other venues.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas up in the balcony, you had people that I guess bought the cheaper seats, and they were out getting popcorn. They would come, they were just going and getting drinks. Like if I
Uh,
had taken a video the whole time we were there, it would just been heads getting up. There were only 3 rows in
oh,
front of
wow.
us, and heads, people getting up, going down, people getting up.
Weird.
Who
Yeah.
buys popcorn at a concert? Like, why would
Watching
you?
the
It's
Cure
not a
eating.
movie. This is, you don't get to watch this again. Like, this is a one-time experience.
Yeah, it's wild. I had a
Blew
few
my
other people say
mind.
that too, so it was definitely a noted observation where people were like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
People were like,
And
"Oh,
somebody
cool,
else had
Cure's
said
playing."
this too, like
I was just here anyway. I didn't even know they were playing.
yeah, yeah. But then when a forest, that was the song that got
Yeah, they
everybody's
all.
attention, was a
Huh.
forest.
Okay.
Even more so than all of the other like
Yeah.
encores, the big ones at
Pop
the
hits
end.
and stuff.
What do you call those
Weird.
again?
Yeah, the Magnificent
The
Seven.
Magnificent Seven. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Friday I'm in Love, yes, but a
Yeah.
forest, suddenly people were dancing.
Yeah. Huh. That's
So it was
cool.
interesting to see how that varied from town to town. And
Did,
Wembley, I expected more crowd participation. I think
yeah.
somebody else said this too in one of the
Yeah.
interviews. It sounds like the third night of Wembley, more people were really into it.
Oh, freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did the first and second night?
Yeah, and we weren't going
Okay.
to do the second night. I kind of convinced Brian at the last minute.
You're like, we're already
I,
here. They're
we're already
playing.
here. Well, we were going to spend a night at the airport.
Ugh.
I'm like,
Yeah.
if you're going to spend another night in the country, let's just do it here and we'll get
Yeah.
up at the ass crack of dawn because
Yeah.
it's worth it. Because
Yeah.
the tickets weren't even that expensive. Like it was easy to buy tickets at the last minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that in that case, we ended up standing really close to the front. And that was a completely different experience from the night
Yeah.
before where we were like in a standing set or a seat, the first seated section behind the floor.
Okay. So that, and you got them kind of last minute then, and you were still able to, well, I guess because that was more, you were able to
Yeah.
just get there early.
Yeah,
and,
actually, it was Arusha. Arusha had some tickets to standing tickets
Okay.
on that night, and she like randomly sent me a message and said, "Hey, are you interested in these? Because I have them, but I'm going to sit up in the balcony and want to see
Awesome.
if you're interested." I was like, "Yes,
Cool. Yeah.
yeah."
Awesome.
It was totally
Very
worth
cool.
it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So yeah, as far as just some questions I was asking everybody on the tour, though, how was experiencing the new songs live and Where do you stand on all those? Are you pretty powerful?
I fucking bawled my eyes out.
Uh,
The first in Dublin
yeah,
during Alone, I was just and Nothing Lasts Forever, or Nothing
yeah,
Is Forever. Like everything. Just hearing it live, feeling the full, round of sound around you, and
yeah,
end song, especially in at Wembley, standing up close, you could feel. I could feel the bass drum
yeah,
was like a heartbeat throughout the whole song. That song is like dun 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 dun
yeah. That's,
dun dun dun, sort of for Jason, very spare
mm-hmm.
drumming, and but the he puts a lot of power into what he does, and by the end of that song, when he starts, slowing it down at the end and says nothing,
Yeah,
oh, nothing, bump, bump. And that bump, bump slows down, and it is like a heartbeat that is like taking its last beat,
jeez,
and
yeah.
like, fuck, ah!
Somebody do something, save them.
Like he's dying at the end of the song.
Yeah,
There is
that's
death
it.
happening at the end of the song.
Oh man,
Fucking blew my
damn.
mind.
Yeah. I guess along those lines, people were, longtime Cure fans, getting a lot of people saying these are the best shows they had seen. It's hard to say how much is getting caught up in the moment and it being recent, but as far as rating them, do you think that they topped past shows or just all kind of equally their own thing?
I mean, I hadn't been to any shows since, I did 96, 97, 2008, 19, or 2019, and then this. So there
Yeah.
was a big gap in between. And of course, like your first Cure show is
Yeah, they're
the
always
best thing ever.
sacred.
But
But yeah,
hearing
maybe.
these new songs and not even having them in a recording,
Yeah.
there's no studio version yet. So the first really good hi-fi version you're hearing is live. That
Yeah.
was that
That's
was powerful. And I wonder if that was intentional.
Yeah, it is.
Hmm.
It's like one of those things that you initially go back and forth. I'm like, oh, it'd been cool to hear the real version first, but then I'm like, no, this is the real version, And like,
Yeah, because it kind
it's
of gives
like
you that
this.
experience of listening to a record for the first time, that where you do experience it and
Yeah,
you're like, all the
yeah,
things that you geek out about, but you're actually doing it in live in person with them there.
yeah. And I think that they were super smart in making them as they staggered a bit, but like for a
Yeah.
big chunk of the tour, they were in every show. Once they played it, it was in there. Like if it
Hmm.
had just been like kind of sprinkled occasionally, they would play a new song. I think it would have less impact. But I think any Cure fan that's checked in at any point on that tour on a YouTube clip, and now we're all very familiar with all of those songs, So it's kind of like I think that really helps it, because you really do know that it was this specific thing in this time, and that's when it really did debut in a sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think there's a conscientious effort there. Like there's a
yeah,
lot of thought put into the playlists.
yeah. So pretty rad.
Set list. Sorry, not playlist. Set list.
Yeah, they're miming the whole time. Did you have a favorite of the four then?
I think the last night,
Yeah,
the second night of Wembley was my
yeah.
favorite. They did a great encore. They did the whole Disintegration and Praise for
That's
Rain.
cool. Yeah, good
That was
sets.
good.
So yeah, did you have any fear? I guess looking at it now, it just dawned on me that like Dublin was before the show where his voice got a little rough, and then there was that scare, like
Yeah,
for
yeah.
show, and then I guess the Cardiff one was like the first
It was
one
the show before
after.
the show after that, right?
Yeah, so that was the one that if they were gonna cancel one, that one seemed most suspect. If that one was gonna get the axe there, did that worry you? You're like,
It
oh
was
no.
close. It was close to
Yeah.
being like it was up in the air. He had a visit with a doctor
Uh-huh.
hours before the show,
Oh
where
wow.
it was going to be determined whether or not he should perform, because there
Yeah.
is a danger when your voice is
Yeah,
when
you
you're
gotta
losing your
fuck it
voice
all up
to
and
power through it, that you could damage your vocal cords, especially
Hmm.
the older you are. So
yeah, and
feeling
what he's
Steven
singing
Tyler.
and 3 hour sets.
um, but I mean, there was a moment where it, no, most people don't even realize, but that could have been canceled at the last minute.
Yeah,
Um, there is incentive for them to keep it going because there is insurance that's involved too.
yeah,
Where if you cancel a show at the last minute, the venue is not going to lose money, the band is going to lose money.
yeah,
So they're going to try to do everything they can, but you also have to take your health into consideration. So that was
yeah. That must
um,
have been scary for
fortunate.
everyone.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
was
like,
really
oh my
fortunate that
god.
it was kind of miraculous. It was kind of like a miracle had happened. And
Yeah,
he joked
yeah.
around about it. He said, I saw a doctor and I think that basically I breathed my sickness onto him. And somewhere there's a
He
doctor
took
who
it.
lost his voice. He's going,
Right.
and I have
Yeah,
this, you know,
it worked. Yeah, I mean,
miracle.
and even just like really listening to that and clips right then and being all panicky at that moment. I remember from far away, even and just like and you could tell some songs were taken down to kind of safe mode or whatever, but at the same time,
Hmm.
it wasn't really. I mean, he could have even really swapped out a lot of songs to be extra padding it, like there would have been,
Yeah.
he could have swapped out a lot of just more mumbly songs and stuff and put them in there, but they really didn't really even change the set list up much or anything. He totally just was
Hmm.
like, fuck it, I'm doing it. It's
Yeah.
like, all right, cool.
I mean,
Damn, dude.
he's just committed. Like
Yeah.
his work ethic, and he doesn't want to let fans down. You know that that's
Nah.
part of his ethos.
Yeah. I guess if you don't mind moving on from concert talk, I do want to talk real quick about the art project you had started up, the hashtag Artist of a Lost World on Instagram there, and how cool that's been. Following everyone absorbing the new songs. You want to explain to people what that was and what is?
Sure. I mean, I would love to keep it going. It's actually started with Curetober,
All right.
hashtag
Yeah.
Curetober in October, and which was inspired by Inktober, which is something that has been going on for years with illustrators, where in the month of October, you have a list of prompts and you do an illustration per day or whenever you can based on kind of usually spooky inspired kind of things. So I thought, okay, Curetober, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure how many people would catch on to it, but what's really lovely about it is that some artists who were already kind of creating their own fan art started all talking to each other,
Yeah.
who were independently didn't know each other, started commenting on each other's, found each other, and have been really grateful for that.
Yeah.
To have other artists to talk to, because it'd be a lonely thing being an
Yeah.
artist. And so then after Curetober, everybody was so happy about it. I was like, okay, well, how about we do something that's inspired by the new songs? And the hashtag is Artists of a Lost World. And it wasn't a daily thing the way Curetober was,
Yeah.
where you had a song every day. This was more of a long-term project. So there aren't as many pieces
Right.
as a result of it, but people really put their heart into it.
Yeah.
And I would love to just have more participatory projects and prompts where artists who are inspired by the Cure just have a reason to make Cure art, because
Yeah.
you do it for yourself usually, but here you have a group of people and it's more
Yeah.
communal, and there's a big payoff to that.
Yeah, it's really cool. It can be kind of all wrangled together, the spot that where I could even just pop in and look at the hashtag and, be like, oh, cool. I hadn't seen this one yet. Hadn't seen this,
Yeah.
So,
And there are going to be new songs beyond the ones that we've heard, so it can keep going once the album comes out.
Yeah, so I feel like 5 more years worth at least. Yeah. So, so yeah, you think you'll just keep it open then? I mean, it seems like the kind of thing people could just keep adding on to it, right? Or are you gonna?
Yeah. I mean, I gave deadlines help.
Yeah.
So I did create a deadline, and then I extended it and I extended it, and it expired on the 31st of January, but I
Yeah.
didn't upload my art until 2 days ago, and I still want to do more. So
Yeah.
the deadline is more of a just incentive to get it
To get
done than it
done.
is like you're going to get in trouble if you go if you don't
Right.
finish this in time.
Yeah.
So
That's
I would
awesome.
like to extend the invitation to any artists
Cool.
who want to participate, who just all you got to do is make something that's inspired by one of the new Cure songs
Yeah.
and hashtag artists of a lost world, and anyone who is following that hashtag, which you can all do by clicking on the hashtag, especially on Instagram, and hitting follow, then
Yeah.
that new art will show up in your feed.
And get a little surprise there when the new one pops up.
And you never know when a member of the Cure might be following or watching you.
Yeah. So there you go. Maybe even contributing at some point. You'll just get
Perhaps.
random.
Maybe.
You get a little Roger doodle or something. Who knows? But,
That would be
a
amazing.
Roger doodle.
That would be like big news.
Awesome. Did Lowell ever reply back to you? You were making a quest to see if there was a backstory to that shirt that you recreated of Robert Smith's The Love Cats one.
Yeah.
And I didn't follow up on it to see if there had ever been. I guess you're asking people to retweet the question and hopefully get it back to Lowell to see if he had any knowledge.
He was pretty quick about it, actually.
Oh, he did? Wow. Cool.
Yeah, I had thought about asking him for some time.
Yeah, because I saw a couple of people had
Because he's in
speculated
those
from stuff that
pictures.
yeah, so he's aware of it, so it's,
Right, yeah. So let me see.
so,
if I can
yeah, it
pull up
seemed like
his-
a couple of people replied that they had read or heard a fan had given it to him or something, but it would be cool to hear it straight from Lowell.
Yeah, so he gracefully said that he has no idea, basically. He is a good writer, I must say.
Yeah.
Because the way he phrased it was well done. And now, of course, I'm not going to be able to find it on my phone. But he said something like, "Unfortunately, I cannot attest to the origin or the provenance of that item of clothing," kind of thing. So basically, I have no fucking idea where it came from.
Fair enough.
But I did narrow down that the photographer who took most of the shots of him wearing that shirt was Tom Sheehan.
Okay.
Sheenan. So I haven't approached him yet to ask him if he has any recollection of that shirt. But I do know that the photo session where Robert's doing the arms up over his head thing, wearing that shirt, was with another photographer, and Tom came in and was like, hey, let me take a few shots. And he took the shot that's on the cover of Lowell's book.
Right. So numerous photographers captured this.
Yeah, there was a photographer
that he wore
this
that
session
shirt
with the Cure, with these guys, with them during that Japanese Whispers time. And Tom had a good habit of like kind of sneaking in during some other photographer's session and just like taking a few snaps here and there at the end after it was over, and that's how he got some of his like iconic shots.
Excellent.
So I should ask him.
Stealing the moment. You have a new book coming out, right? Or is it officially out yet?
I do.
Or is
The
it in
Secret
April?
Life of the Flying Squirrel.
Excellent.
Yay.
The next in the series, then?
It's the last in the series.
Oh, yeah? The finale.
Yeah.
The Flying Squirrel. Awesome. So, yeah, when's it come out? And
April 11th.
okay.
So,
Cool.
but you can pre-order it on Amazon. I normally don't tell people to buy my books on Amazon because Amazon, they end up discounting things eventually, and that takes away from the dollar I make per book. But if you pre-order, it's good.
Okay.
Pre-ordering is good. Because the publisher gets the numbers, and then that helps them put more money towards a marketing budget if they know that a book is pre-selling well.
Excellent.
And the cool thing about Flying Squirrels is that they are probably living, if you live in North America, east of the Rockies and north of like North Carolina, they're probably living in the trees behind your home. You just don't know they're there because they're nocturnal and they're so fast. Like they look like fast motion when they move. You wouldn't even if you saw one, you wouldn't even know that you saw it because they're so fast. They're so cool. They're really
us
cute.
then, huh? They're out there.
They're just as common, if
Flying.
not more common. Like there may be more of them in your neighborhood than your common gray squirrel that you see. You just
Wow.
see the gray squirrels because they're out being
Yeah,
bold,
yeah. Excellent.
but flying squirrels are secretive.
Awesome. The nightlife.
Like imaginary lemurs in the middle
Yes.
of the day.
I was gonna say, yeah, we need to get Robert to incorporate a flying squirrel into a song somehow. I think that would be a good animal to focus on next.
That'd be cool.
He could do it. Does the book wrap up in a very epic way that closes out the whole series, or they all get together at the end? Not to spoil it.
There's no like all the animals gathering at the end. No, but there is a pattern to the stories where it is, like a mother having babies, and the babies learn to fend for themselves in the end,
Yeah.
and they all leave, and it's empty nest. And
Go on. Excellent. Well, cool. We'll definitely try to
one of
share
the
that.
hardest things I've had to draw because they are fast in the
Yeah.
dark and they live in dark places. Not easy.
Yeah.
Them and bats.
He's painting all these like smears across. They all like like
Well,
them in motion,
Basically, that's what they do
The
look like in
reference,
real
yeah,
life,
yeah.
and that's why there are so few photos of them. Like
Yeah.
there are plenty of photos of sea otters. That was easy.
Right.
There are not a lot of photos of things that move in the dark that are dark.
Really fast.
Yeah, exactly.
True. Excellent. Well, cool deal. And we'll definitely share that link. So as all the animals gather from the Cure songs, I guess our final tally was that birds won, I think. The birds.
I think so.
Probably. Maybe second was
Birds and cats.
Birds and cats,
fish were the surprise. Yeah, birds, cats, and fish, I think.
Mortal
Probably
enemies, all of them.
Yes. The food chain.
Like you said, we got the circle of life, food chain there. We're all incorporated. So, yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed that stroll through the Cure Zoo. And thank you guys so much for your research and in-depth analyzing of these animals in Cure songs. Yeah, definitely knew that would be a weird one to do solo in particular, so thank you guys so much. Next on the list, we have monkeys. I was like, what?
Yeah, just play animal noise. Yeah, to go with it.
So we'll leave you guys there, and definitely, like I said, hit us up if we left any out that were obvious or ones that you stumbled across out there, listeners, and we'll add them to the list. So we'll sign off there. Thanks so much, Kate, for joining us. Hope to have you back again soon for more
Yes, thank you.
Cure discussion. And
Thank you, Gavin and Chaz.
Anytime. And I guess on Antonia's behalf, he has dogs, so I know he's at least somewhat of a dog person. I don't know if he has any cats, so he gets the vote for dog fan. So cats versus dogs. Are you guys choosing a side?
Dogs all the time.
Yeah, all dogs.
I have a cat. I have two dogs. I have two dogs and a cat. But
Wasn't
I
sure
will
if you
always
had a
have
cat. Yeah, you got a cat, Chaz? I didn't know you had a cat. Do you have a cat?
Yeah, lives in the basement.
Is it one of those cats?
Yeah.
Cool. You choosing a side, Kate?
Well, I mean, we have two cats and a dog, but I'm a dog person.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I don't think I could properly choose. I grew up dogs my whole life. Never wanted anything to do with cats. And then
They don't want anything to do with you either.
Yeah, and that's why I love them
Yeah.
now. So I'm like all about cats now. I'm like, these are great. You pet them, and just like, fuck off, go away. They just go away, and they
Much
tell me
easier to find a pet sitter for when you're going to fly overseas for a Cure concert.
So,
I'm sure.
yeah, part of my love too. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. They just do their own thing. So, yeah. But there's enough room in most hearts for both, I think. So,
Yeah.
on that note,
Absolutely.
Sure.
so to all the animals out there, sleep well too. And thanks again, guys. Thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you.
We'll say talk hard, meow hard, bark hard, or call. Yeah, we'll just get a little montage of bird noises as we fade out here. Go for it, Kate. There we go.
That was a gull. That was a laughing gull.
Perfect.
All right, all you wild animals out there, that does it for this episode. Thank you so much to Kate and Chaz again for talking critters with us, and thanks to you guys for listening. And I did have one last critter story that's related to the cure that also involves a giant shout out to our new friend Francisco out there. Hello, Francisco. It's been wonderful talking to you, and thank you for the lovely gifts you had sent. Yep. Before I went to Costa Rica, he contacted me about a David Bowie book. You might be familiar with it. It's an illustrated biography of David Bowie, and it has these cool little illustrations in there. And there's a section on it where Robert is playing at the David Bowie 50th birthday party. And so he said, I knew I could count on them for my 50th party. I gave a concert in Madison Square Garden. A few other musicians I'd influenced played. David Grohl, Billy Corgan, Frank Black, and Robert Smith, the leader of The Cure, who gave me a curious present, a fossilized chameleon. So, and then there's this cool illustration that I'll post a picture of on our Facebook page of Robert handing David Bowie a little chameleon, fossilized. I don't know if this looks more like a stuffed taxidermy chameleon, but I don't know if it was like in like an actual rock or what. But yeah, I hadn't heard about that before. You guys had heard that one? So I hadn't heard that he gave him a fossilized chameleon for his birthday at that show. So very cool. And thank you so much for hooking me up with the book, Francisco. And Francisco is also sending us these cool little Holy Hour stamps that he had made up. And I'm going to get one to Antonio and Chaz when they arrive too. So thanks so much, man. You're a kind soul. And it's been real cool talking back and forth with you. And on top of that, of course, we can't sign off without a giant shout out to our Patreon. So if that's something you want to be a part of, I recommend you go over to patreon.com/the Holy Hour Podcast. And you can be part of the team over there, like Donna and Craig and Jeff Hilton, Jeff Cortland Jones, Sue, Ben, John, Allison, Alan, Dione, Namicio, Danny, Coulter, Matt Ford, and Tom Johnson, and Letty, and our newest members, Tom Burns and John Roberts. John is from Australia, and Tom is over in the UK. So lovely to have those guys and expand our international listeners and Patreon members. So welcome, guys. I hope you find all the goodies over there waiting for you at Patreon in the Holy Half Hour bonus episodes, and enjoy the extra little bonuses. Other members include Dana, who happens to be an awesome motion designer and animator, and you should totally check out her work at graphics.tv. That's graphics with an X. There you can see some of her superb, talented artwork, and reach out to her if you are in need of an animator or motion designer, or to promote your business or help it out and make it look good. So go check out her motion graphics reel at graphics.tv. And of course, our buddy Scott, who I want to get back on the show very soon, hopefully. He's a co-host of the Sarlacc Digest, the All Star Wars podcast, and you can watch them do their live shows every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube. If you're a Star Wars fan on any level, I totally recommend checking this out. The show's great. It's always fun. Even if there isn't anything too riveting in the Star Wars world going on, they always make it fun. But it just happens there's always something riveting going on, too. So it makes it that much better. Even Bad Batch, which isn't that great of a show, in my opinion, they made it really fun. If you're part of their Patreon, you get a bingo card and all the silly little things that make up Bad Batch pop up, and you can play Bad Batch Bingo. Henson and I love it every week. So go check them out. They're wonderful. It's a great show every Wednesday night, or you can catch the replays anywhere you listen to podcasts. And they cover all things in the Star Wars universe. Dickens is a cool venue up in Calgary, Canada, and comes highly recommended from Lisa. So go over to dickensyyc.com and you can check out a list of all the upcoming shows and events being hosted by Dickens, or check out their Twitch page at Dickens YYC for all the live streaming action. And of course, all this is fine and dandy, but it doesn't save lives. So Matt suggests that you check out the Red Cross Blood Donor app. It's free, easy to use. It'll help you locate and schedule an appointment to donate blood. And it's all done within the Red Cross Blood Donor app. Free to download, so no excuses. And of course, our friend Kate, who we just talked to, CureThreads.com. You got to be aware of it at this point. So go on over and check it out. Original Cure-inspired artwork done by Kate, and you can get it on any wide range of products over there. So go check them out. You can also check out her illustrated books, The Other Secret Lives of Other Creatures. If this has got your curiosity piqued and you're not familiar, go check them out. They're lovely books. Henson loves them. And the hashtag Artist of a Lost World. Go subscribe to it like we talked about on Instagram so you can see the latest wonderful pieces of art posted up there. And I encourage you guys to contribute to it too. My stick figures probably won't make the cut, but I look forward to seeing your wonderful artwork. And that'll keep going for a little while, it sounds like now. So cool. And of course, Chaz's 17-second shirts. You don't want to sleep on that. Go to Instagram, follow him at 17_seconds, and you'll see the postings for when he puts a new design up. And you can pre-order it there. Go over to 17secondshirts.bigcartel.com to lock in your pre-order. And you'll look super rad for when these Cure shows get announced and you get to go see the Cure. It's got to be what it is, right? Just today we saw a post saying 2023 Cure news is imminent. All right, so they didn't quite say tour, but it's got to be that or an album release. Hopefully both. Hopefully it won't just be, we've got a new mug coming out. But I have a good feeling about this, so we're going to get some dates very soon, hopefully. Cross your fingers. I don't want to jinx it, but I think the time is coming. We're going to get this album and this tour. Anyway, so subscribe on Apple, YouTube, anywhere you listen to podcasts, to The Holy Hour. Thank you so much. Instagram, you can follow us, The Holy Hour on Instagram, and the Facebook page where you'll see extra little nuggets and links to all of Kate's wonderful art and work. You can also email me directly at gavinconnor@gmail.com. Thanks again, Chaz and Kate. You guys are awesome. Thank you for listening. And hopefully you find some more Cure creature connections out there. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Signing off.